Hello. As someone who interprets dreams, I want to cover Joe Rogan's recent dream he had involving an alien encounter. I want to first give my analytical dream analysis, then I'll tell you what I actually think about all of this. I'll play some clips, I'll give my thoughts, so let's go.
So I was telling you before we get started that I had the most bizarre dream I've ever had in my life last night. The most realistic and most bizarre dream. And it's so hard to try to explain how strange this was. But I was in some weird corridor that looked like a building but was odd. Very strange. And I was encountering these beings that looked like people but very different. They were very thin and they were slightly on the tall side. And they had big heads, like larger than normal, with larger than normal eyes. But they looked like people, and they were playful, and they were scaring me. They scared me, and then they joked around, like we're just joking around. It was the most realistic dream I've ever had in my life. And I woke up, and I could not go back I had to stay up. I got up at 3:30 in the morning, and I just went to the gym, and I worked out for a couple hours, and I was like, what the f*** was that? But it was very bizarre in that there was communication going on. It was like, God, I want to read into this because I know it's just a dream, but it was like, get comfortable with this.
You should read into it because it's a dream. So it doesn't make it right, but your subconscious is trying to tell you about something, and the fact that it felt very, very important means your subconscious thinks it's very, very important, you know?
These things felt very organic. Whatever this was, it felt like living organic beings that were like us. There was also a water element. It was hard to understand what the water element of it was, but there was some sort of an indication that there was water and that there was a protection from you going out into the water. But if you did go into the water, there's a bunch of predators in the water. But they weren't like, it wasn't like sharks. It was reptile, like crocodile type things that were in the water, and that they had been like feeding them and keeping them calm and like keeping them away. But whatever these beings were in my dream, they were like what humans could eventually be. That's what it felt like. If it didn't feel like a person, but I don't feel like a monkey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like that. It was very, very realistic. Like there was communication going on, and I was really freaked out, and they were with me to lighten me up because I was freaked out. They're like, and then they're like this, like calm down, like relax. It was so realistic. It was so realistic that when it was over, I wasn't sure what happened. Like it wasn't like, whoa, what a dream. It was like, that was different. That was a different one.
Okay, I'm going to first break this thing down for you with the dream interpreter lens. So he's in a corridor, he's in a strange and unfamiliar building. He gets greeted by non-human entities that look like a possible future version of what us human beings could become. He said that there was some communication between them, and these beings are telling them that there's some sort of protection in the water he's going into. But he needs to be careful because there's predators everywhere. More specifically, these crocodile-looking things. But the beings are feeding them and keeping them at bay. But he's also told, or he gets the sense that he needs to get comfortable with whatever this new change is, because this is what it's going to be. So, in my opinion, his dream means that there's going to be a change in the direction of his business. However, because of this change, there's going to be people who aren't too happy about this and that maybe try to attack him in some way or another. And from the dream realm, the crocodiles can represent predators, obviously, but they also represent gossipers and backstabbers. What do crocodiles have? They have big mouths. What also do they have? Big tails. So from a spiritual point of view, crocodiles represent these things, but they also represent a demonic force. It appears that he will have some sort of protection or guidance, possibly even divine protection, to carry all this out. He does need to get used to this because whatever this is the path that he's called to do. I also sense that there is a spiritual aspect to all of this. Like whatever his next move is, there's going to be some sort of spiritual component to it. That's why he's allowed this protection. And these beings that he's seeing, these are spiritual beings. Now, that was my dream analysis. What I really think happened was he actually had an encounter in the spiritual realm with spiritual beings. Now, when we dream, we access the spiritual realm. And if you follow the telepathy tapes at all, you may have heard or know of stories about some autistic kids going into their parents' or relatives' dreams. I did a whole video on this. It's not just autistic kids who can do this. When we dream, we're accessing the spiritual realm in some capacity. And as some of you know, sometimes uninvited guests just show up. And I believe that Joe Rogan was showed by spiritual beings what was next to come. However, since just like our brains, the spiritual realm largely speaks in metaphor and symbolism. Those beings were trying to explain to Joe what to expect next. The simple fact that that dream didn't feel like a dream and it haunted him the whole day, that is a telltale sign that this was a spiritual encounter. And those quote unquote dreams do feel different and they are more realistic. They have a different, we'll just say, texture to them. And when you wake up or after that experience, you feel different about this. You sense it inside you. So this will be very interesting to see what sort of endeavors that Joe Rogan gets into in the near future. But I do want to keep this video short, but if you want to go deeper on dreams, then definitely check out my Deciphering Dreams series or playlist. I will link that below. But this will at least get you started on interpreting your own dreams. But if you got some value out of this video, please like, it definitely helps the channel, and follow for more. I'll catch you guys next time.